Yeah, so when we talk about smart communities, there's a lot of different things to talk about here. And what's really interesting, if you look back to some of the cities that started smart city initiatives back in 2014, 15, 16, they would put out these RFIs that said, these are the initiatives that we want to be able to address within our city. And in a lot of cases, there was 85, 90, 120 different initiatives that were being addressed as part of that overall smart city initiative. But when you start to drill them down, biometric screening and payment, interactive security, the whole intelligent lighting piece of it, those are pieces of a smart city or smart community. But the solution set that the majority of the communities and cities really started to look at is, when we start to look at all these initiatives, what is the main factor that we need to look at? And that's the digital infrastructure to support all of these smart activities and smart initiatives. And the cities and jurisdictions that have looked at that and worked with outside consultants and worked with some of the technical companies like Extreme Networks that provide that infrastructure are much further ahead in their digital transformation of that smart community or smart city than the ones that are looking at the applications. Looking at the applications and putting in all intelligent lighting around the city, and then only to find that the network has to be upgraded to support that intelligent lighting. That's a lousy place to be in. So what more of the jurisdictions are doing now is they have a committee. They're working at multiple applications that they want to put in place. They're looking at the infrastructure that will support that. They're looking at how the funding will be available for a lot of those different aspects. And it's becoming a much more comprehensive understanding of what's happening in their community and how they can effectively address improving and helping the citizen, worker, and student engagement that's essential in any kind of a smart community.
Yeah, so great points, Brian. And as you mentioned, the digital infrastructure is the foundation for all of this, and having the foresight to build that out or focus on that at the onset is game changing. You have several different applications on here, right? Intelligent lighting, interactive security, cameras for public safety, biometric screening, location-based service, all these different services that could potentially ride that network or ride that digital infrastructure. You got to have the ability to easily provision, deploy, and provide segmentation for all these different potential applications you would layer on top. And you don't want to be caught in the situation where the intelligent PoE lighting project came in via the Public Works Department, and you built out a network to support that. Then later on, the police department or the transportation department wanted to install cameras, and now you have to build out another network to deploy the cameras. If you think about the digital infrastructure at the beginning and say, hey, let's build a foundation here where we can layer all these different initiatives on top of it without having to build it out from scratch every time, additional significant cost savings, both CapEx and OpEx. In addition to that, much quicker deployments and a much higher degree of security, which at the end lowers risks pretty much in all facets. It's in my opinion, that's where you should start looking, is how do we ensure our digital IT infrastructure is ready to support all these different smart community initiatives.
Yeah, great points, Eric. You and I have both been to multiple cities around the United States where they've got multiple networks in place based upon what you just described. Take a minute and kind of describe what the segmentation you were just describing earlier and how Extreme differentiates themselves from some of the other vendors that are providing the infrastructure in smart communities.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're going to run into a lot of different solution sets out there. Some of them are based on legacy technology. You'll see folks build in corridors for lighting or traffic management, spanning tree rings, right? Legacy technology has a slew of problems. Even in today's world, they're still building them out with that particular tech, and cameras will be deployed with a different type of technology in a lot of the municipalities I run into. So, who operates all this different infrastructure? Could you have leveraged the same fiber paths, conduit paths to build out one network as opposed to maybe running the same fiber, the same conduits in similar areas for different applications? Do you have a holistic view of how things are operating? If you need to provide coordination between agencies and provide data between them, is that even possible if they're on separate networks and they're not even connected to each other potentially, or what type of security ramifications would be involved if we do connect them. So the ability to build one digital IT infrastructure and just be able to leverage or layer these services and tenants on top of it, it makes a huge difference when it comes to interoperability and just lowering operation costs and risk.